President Trump returned to Washington Tuesday after a whirlwind trip to Israel to address Israel's parliament and then sign an historic peace agreement in Egypt. And Israelis are still relishing the return of 20 living hostages after 2 years in Hamas captivity. Here's the latest. The 20 hostages are reuniting with their families and loved ones and beginning the long road to recovery.
As we know, the road to recovery for both of the returnees and their families will be long, and we will be here for them every step of the way with humility, care, and sensitivity.
In Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, world leaders gathered as President Trump and the heads of Egypt, Turkey, and Qatar signed a peace agreement that said in part, "We, the undersigned, welcome the truly historic commitment and implementation by all parties to the Trump peace agreement, ending more than 2 years of profound suffering and loss, opening a new chapter for the region defined by hope, security, and a shared vision for peace and prosperity."
This is the day that people across the region and around the world have been working, striving, hoping, and praying for. They have done things over the last month that I think were really unthinkable. Nobody thought this could happen. With the historic agreement we've just signed, those prayers of millions have finally been answered.
In the meantime, in what some see as the seeds for future terror, Israel released nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners as part of the Gaza peace agreement. Many had been serving life sentences for terror attacks that killed many Israelis. Inside Gaza, Hamas has taken over areas the IDF has pulled out of and is publicly executing those who oppose their rule or are accused of collaborating with Israel. So far, Hamas has released only 4 of the 28 bodies of those Hamas killed during captivity, leaving families to question how long it will take to recover their remains. Meanwhile, Israelis continue to celebrate the return of the 20 hostages and the fulfillment of their dreams. Last week on the 700 Club, while Hamas was still negotiating, Gordon Robertson spoke with Lachey Miran Levy, wife of former hostage Omri Miran. He asked if she had hope that she'd see her husband come home soon.
I know that it's not over until it's not over, but like I say before, I always have my hope to see Omri again.
We'll join with you in a prayer to Hashem that once again you'll hear the cry, Abba, Abba, from your 2 little girls, and once again you'll see that smile in his eyes.
Monday, those prayers were answered as Omri and his family were reunited. Joining me to talk more about these historic developments is CBN News producer-reporter Joshua Swanson and CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl. Julie, first to you. You've been talking to Israelis about this deal. What are they saying?
Well, of course, first of all, everyone's very happy that the hostages are back and that they can breathe a great sigh of relief. They're very happy. I mean, you see the reception videos and everything, and Israel's taking such good care of them in the hospitals and, you know, making sure they're psychologically in every way fit. On the other hand, there's a kind of a big concern about what did Israel agree to in order to get them out. So I think that's a huge concern right now.
It's sort of buyer's remorse. I mean, we're grateful for the deal, but oh no. What does this mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there was another way to do it, but, you know, the whole thing of letting out 250 terrorists, convicted terrorist murderers. Some of them are close by being let out. And plus another, 1,700 Hamas or other people from Gaza. So it's very, very scary for a lot of people.
Yeah. Joshua, you were down at the airport yesterday, and President Trump really has a big footprint, and the United States has a big footprint as well. You saw that firsthand at the airport.
Yeah, the word that comes to mind is power, Chris. It's an unbelievable display of power when the President of the United States comes. Of course, Air Force One is massive. Yesterday, I said it was like a Titanic with wings. You know, and you see the President going up those stairs, and he takes a while. It's not because he's 79. It's because he's going up like 2 stories. So it's just huge. But then there's 3 other C-17s that come with him. Plus, Marco Rubio has his plane, plus the 2 limos and all the vehicles and all the Secret Service. It's an unbelievable display of American power. Even as an American, I was shocked. And, you know, the Israelis, all of the different officials, the local police, everyone was at the airport excited to get a selfie with the plane, to see the president from the distance. So he really is, he's a hero, he's a celebrity, and he's a man with a lot of power.
Yeah, and everyone was so grateful for President Trump. There were banners down in Tel Aviv. And Julie, I don't think I've ever seen a speech in the Knesset like President Trump did yesterday.
Definitely not. I've never seen one. You know, he started off with really honoring and thanking the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So, you know, even that, you know, he was honoring Israel and their God, even if it's his God too. And it was really special. It was very personal. I never saw. It was like they were just having a conversation.
Yeah.
It was very personal, and you could tell it was heartfelt. Everything came from his heart, even the joke about pardoning Bibi.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I should explain that. During the speech, he just was very extemporaneous. He said to Bibi Netanyahu, he said, hey, the opposition leader, he's not a bad guy. Why don't you get along with him? The war's over. And then to your point, he said to the president of Israel, why don't you pardon Bibi? He says, you know, cigars and champagne. What's the big deal?
It felt as if he was president of Israel for a few moments there as well.
Yeah.
As president of the United States, based on how free and loose he was.
And very many standing ovations and recognizing so many people that made the difference. And so then he goes from the Knesset to Sharm el-Sheikh, and he meets with leaders from all over the world. And talking about power, he has the ability right now to bring world leaders anywhere it seems like he wants. And down Sharm el-Sheikh. What's your thoughts about that peace plan that they signed?
I mean, it looks really good from the outside. I'm not really sure that it says a whole lot from the inside. Some of the characters or leaders that are signing it are not particularly friendly to Israel. I don't know that signing this document is going to make them friendly to Israel. They're, you had mentioned...
I mentioned President Erdogan from Turkey, the Emir of Qatar. They're both Muslim Brotherhood. Qatar has been funding Hamas for years, and Erdogan has been having leaders of Hamas in Turkey as well. So.
And the language in the agreement was very broad: a neutral administration, an international force. Didn't identify one single country or one single governing body. So it's interesting. I mean, only President Trump could twist arms and get those leaders there. But now it'll be interesting to see what this agreement really means and if it has any real impact.
That's right. And Julie, we've talked about the fact that right now Hamas is really taking over parts of Gaza that the IDF pulled out of. They're executing collaborators or people that they want to purge. Yeah,
you know, there's this whole clan issue in Gaza, well, in most of the Arab world, and whoever has the weapons, whoever is strongest, they're the ones in power. It's not a democracy where you vote and everything and everybody has freedom. If that clan is in charge, and Hamas is, then you know, they rule with power. And so Hamas is still in power in that area. You know, Israel let out all these terrorists. Hamas is still in power. It's not really a good sign.
Yeah, right.
Well, and the International Stabilizing Force, their words.
Yes.
They're now going to have to go to battle with Hamas. To your
exactly.
point.
If they really want Hamas to disarm.
Yeah.
30 seconds left, Joshua. How should people be praying?
Yeah, well, to that point about this agreement, we want peace in the Middle East. Everyone here obviously wants that. The Jewish people wanted that their entire existence. So I think that's the thing to pray for, is that we do find a path to true peace in the Middle East.
And that would be a blessing to all of us. And some people are saying maybe this will be at least a temporary pause in fighting and terror, and that there could be a season prophetically and looking up to even greater things, which we'll talk about in the future. Julie, Joshua, great to be with you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.